Here we go for the University of Texas Steve Hicks School of Social Work, Washington Calling Class 2025. My name is Sonia Ingolstad. I'm a first-year graduate student. We started things off day one at NASW and then had a lunch sponsored by the Dean's Office. Thank you, Dean. We then had a joint session with the LBJ students and heard from Stephen Eichenauer, perspectives from a professional advocate, and then Bill Shute, who told us all about how Washington works. We ended the day with a dinner sponsored by the Dean's Office. Thank you so much. Day two, we were back at the LBJ Washington Center. Our first speaker was Deshawn Carr, talking to us about equity and access in higher education. Then we had Eric Duncan from Ed Trust. Shout out to Dean Stacy Jordan for that connection. We made our way over to the Congressional Budget Office in the rain, on the subway, and by walking. Here we are. For this lecture, Dr. Landit set us up with the Deputy Director for the Budget Analysis Division, former UT graduate Christy Hawley Anthony. She gave us a lecture on 10 things to know about the CBO and graciously answered any of our questions. We then made our way over to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. That was a wonderful experience and clearly had great views. We ended the day with a wonderful nighttime tour, the DC Monuments at Night tour in the rain. It was such a fun experience running around and such an adventure. This was also sponsored by the Dean's Office, so thank you so much. Day three was a super exciting day because we were at the White House. Here we are making our way to the line. We finally got in and had a really interesting tour of the White House. Check out this fancy dining room. The next part of the day was at Human Rights Campaign. Here's Dr. Landit giving us some snacks. We had a wonderful panel discussion with the Senior Vice President of Equality Programs, the National Press Secretary, the Vice President of Campaigns, the Director of Government Affairs, and the Director of Political Action Committee. So that was really, really amazing. We then found ourselves in Virginia for a visit to the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. We were given an overview of USCRI with topics such as human trafficking and asylum, migrating children and temporary protected status, and international programs. Here's our group. Our fourth and final day in DC, we spent on the Hill. We met with Senator John Cornyn and had a conversation with his legislative staff. We then met with UT graduate and Chief of Staff for Congressman Tony Gonzalez Cesar Prieto, and after that, met with Representative Lloyd Doggett. We had our last meeting of the day with Representative Greg Casar, took a group photo, and then another one in front of the Capitol. Check it out. Big shout out to these three for making our trip a huge success. We couldn't have done it without them. Here we are on our last day back in Texas at our Capitol. We met with Representative Jean Wu and then staff members from Representative John Busey, Representative Gina Hinojosa, and Senator Joan Huffman. I have to say this class was an incredible experience and completely changed my life and my view on where I will go from here. I am so appreciative of this opportunity and I thank you so much.